Morning. It's a lousy day in London. It's pouring with rain, very windy. Typical, but it's winter, isn't it? So we can't grumble. Anyway, I'm going to make up another landscape. I think when you begin painting, the painting is not as hard as trying to find stuff to paint. But over many years you acquire a repertoire of things. I'm talking landscape here, where you can finally be free of photographs or copying photographs, trying to do them exactly, and just enjoy the process of painting and just use photographs and reference material as an aid memoir. Now I'm doing acrylic, so what I've done here, I've primed this piece of watercolour paper. It's Fabriano, not that it matters. I put this tint of burnt sienna acrylic, Wilkinson's own, over the paper and added some, well, diluted it a bit with some dilute PVA glue. That's 2 parts PVA glue, 1 part of water, so it's 1 in 3, I suppose. I also primed the other side with black and a bit of that, because an old painting was on the other side, and I've moved on quite a bit since then. So, and I gave this another coat. What I've done is to make my own sort of gesso. It's a rough sort of, I used this, was a brand name Polyfiller, but it's a multi-purpose filler, internal decorations, plaster, wood. Not the best way to buy it, but you really need to know a plasterer or a builder that's got some trade plaster. I've got some here in a cup that somebody gave me, just a bit of powder, and it's cheap, but it's not if you buy 28 pounds of it. It's not, you just want a cupful, and it lasts you for ages. And I just mix that with some of the paint, and then I varnished over it with another coat of PVA glue, so I've got a rough surface to work on. So my palette is going to be cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, crimson red. It's a bit lighter than the alizarin, ultramarine and viridian, because I know viridian makes lovely greens when it's mixed with the cadmium yellows and the yellow ochre, and you can temper it with a bit of the red. We'll see how we go. I'm using cheap brushes. Now, for those of you that follow me regularly, you will know that I've been using this old brush here. Look, it's worn out, look, there's hardly any bristles in it, but I bought another one here, £2.95. Where are we? There we are. Nice new one, look. So I'll just give that a bit of a soak, because it's got glue on the bristles to keep them together. But I'm going to use my inch brush. Now you need plenty of rag for this. I'm going to do this in 2 parts. I hear you groan. A trailer for Patreon. These materials cost a lot of money over the years. As to the camera, I could do with a new camera. So if you'd like to support me on Patreon, it's very, very inexpensive. And I've got about 120 videos on there now for your delectation. Right, okay, so I'm going to start with a bit of landscape. So I'm going to, oh, sorry, and black. I like black, and I'm just going to squeeze some out. There we are. It will stay nice and moist for a long time, for about an hour or so, and I won't be painting for an hour. Right, okay, so we want some distance, we want some field, some water, maybe, if you know the UK, southern UK, all the marshes behind Dymchurch, Hythe, in Kent, Romney Marsh, that sort of thing. That's what I like to do. I might even put a little windmill in, but I don't think there are any windmills on there, on the marsh anyway. Probably were windmills, to wind pumps really. So I'll mix a bit of black, with a bit of the cad yellow and just put in some trees on the distance, well, not too distant, a bit of black, a blue with that. This is only a rough in. We'll create that distance when we've done a bit of blocking. Now, you can use some PVA glue at this stage. I'm going to pour some out. I'll show you. This is a dilute PVA glue. I'll keep it in this plastic pot. I just tip some out, and I can dip my brush into that. It sort of gives a varnish as you go. It gives a shine, slight shine to it, and it just lubricates. It dries fairly quickly. Oh, we can have some bushes, some fields going. Let's add a bit of white to that blue and that black. Let's change the colour. A bit of grey. What a big sky. And as you add paint to the paper, the board, canvas, whatever you're using, it will gradually create an impasto. Look, let's get this blue. Okay, put another brush, and I'll put in a bit of distant. Use a bit of that viridian, a bit of blue in the viridian as well. So let's just go across here. I've just done a couple like this, but they were based on our weekly bike ride along the Wandle in Maldenhall Park, where we're going to go tomorrow if it's not raining. Don't go out in the rain. Not at our age. There's some more blue to that viridian. I'm not a great lover of viridian. I'm just sort of using it to extend the yellows as my ready mixed green. Now, I like impressionist painting, so I keep everything soft. And anybody wants to see a really great painter whose borders on abstract is Jackie Gardner. She's a Scottish painter from Arbroath, and she makes my tongue hang out when I look at her stuff. We should go on British Impressionist. It's a Facebook page started by American Matthew Clemens, who supports me on YouTube and Patreon. He set the channel up to but it was not. Oh no, it was. Sorry, no, that was the Ron Ranson disciples. Sorry, someone else. Jocelyn set up the British Impressionists, and about 700 plus members of it. You get the odd person who posts a sort of a photorealism, which is not what it's about. It's very clever and all that, but it's the softness of the impressionist that we like. Right, let's just put a little bit of blue in there, just to make that more distant. Okay, and we'll come down. I'll put a pond in there. I think I like putting a pond, but I'll do that when I decide what sort of sky we're aiming for. But the skies, like everything else, they just get made up as I go along. Let's put a bit of red and a bit of that alizarin. That gives a nice sort of shadowing. Lovely warm, rich dark with that crimson. In fact, that's quite good for the front there. But if you mix a bit of white with this, you can get loads of greys, lovely greys. So a pond somewhere in there. Can't show you my palette because it's too difficult with the camera. I've just sent a camera a camcorder back that had a lousy sound. Well, it was cheap. I should have known better, really. You don't get cheap and good, do you? Online, anyway. Oh, this is going to be much brighter along there. This is just the laying. But you've got to have, to show darks, lights, you've got to have darks. And gradually we'll build up a web of colour over all this. I'm going to go to the sky in a minute. I'll do a bit of everything as the trailer. Then I'll have a break and come back and do another video later. This is a 15 by 11 inch piece of paper, so it will fit my watercolour mounts, just to have a look at the end. When I finish these, I give them a couple of coats of the PVA, the dilute PVA glue. That's wood glue, PVA. You don't need to buy expensive extenders and so on. You can use PVA glue. Look, there we are, PVA bond. It's builders stuff. You can mix it with cement. You can prime a wall before you plaster it, so the plaster sticks. You can stick your chair legs together with it. It's a very versatile. It's an acrylic glue. That's why we can use it with acrylic. Right, now sky. So I want a nice bright sky. So we'll have a bit of yellow, a bit of crimson, and let's just, oh, a bit of ochre in there as well. It's just a bit of the dilute glue. Look, you can cover quite quickly, even though it's quite a rough surface. Get that red and that ochre. Just kill the canvas. Not sure I want any shine through, really. You don't need to flatten it all. Just leave some brush strokes if you can. It's not like oil. Oil will stay where you put it, more or less. This does tend to shrink when it dries, if it's impasto. But you can, there again, you can mix it with your polyfiller or pull your hair down. You know, it's so versatile. You can buy mediums like texture paste to thicken up your paint if you want some heavy impasto, or you can model with your plaster dust in the PVA glue underneath. You can do what you want. You have to try these things. Look, see, I'm going over that now. Get some more. This doesn't help it dry. I mean, help it stay open. This PVA glue, it dries pretty quick, but it enables you to work fast. So let's get some nice warm colours in there. You can see why these take a lot longer than watercolours, because you're continually over painting. But paint rough, paint impressionist, sacrifice detail for art, if you know what I mean. Jackie Gardner is, I've got a link on my desktop to Jackie's work. It's all on Facebook. Yeah, look on Facebook. Jackie Gardner, Jackie Gardner. If you look at her work, she'll open up avenues for you. She will stimulate your imagination. But you'll find the way she paints, there's years and years of doing it to make it look as simple, but she does some wonderful abstracted seascapes and she uses oil, and well, I think she uses everything. Right. We will be putting some clouds on this. I'm just mixing the yellow ochre, the crimson and the cadmium yellow, just to get some nice warm in the sky. Let's get that horizon there just nice and light so the trees will show. I do use a limited palette and I try to use as few colours as I can or can get away with. Look, you can see the texture coming through from the gesso, or the homemade gesso. Yum, yum. Don't use pure white, always use a tint, because clouds never white, they've got a lot of colour in them. But I want this ultimately to be a bright picture rather than dull. Look, it's dry brushing over that now. Now let's get a bit more colour in that. Red and yellow. So I mentioned on one of my small ones from Friday, I think Friday, Saturday, that my sky was a bit too busy, but hey, it's what it is. These are demonstrations after all, and I am talking, I'm not concentrating so much on what I'm doing as to give you information. Right, okay, clean. I'll get another brush. I've been using these inch varnish brushes for 2 years now. They're Pro Art 1 inch, so don't ask me on YouTube what they are because I've just told you. Look, Pro Art, hog varnish, hog bristle. Right, let's put in a bit of blue, bit of crimson, a lump of white. Remember, make your clouds of silver, not of lead. Let's mix a bit of PVA glue with that. We've got a bit of a bit darker maybe. Bit of red. If you made the sky too bitty, too detailed, too busy, it competes with your landscape if the landscape's busy. So it's a simple landscape, detailed sky, where the sky is the dominant object rather than the landscape. But I haven't decided yet. I don't know where I'm going to go. I'll go back to the landscape in a minute while I've done some more of this. I'll just make one big central cloud. Okay, well that's a start for the sky. Where we go from there, I don't know. I'm just cleaning the brush. Get some landscape in, some nice see the nice brilliant grassy colour, green. We're going to have a bit of red in that. As we come down here, warm it up. That colour there, a bit of white, would be a good shadow colour between the grass areas, the rough marsh grass. Just fill that in. Gives you a bit of ochre with it now. Trying to kill the canvas. That's what we say when we're just over painting the ground colour. You can leave the ground showing through, of course. Anybody old enough to remember Tom Keating? The Fake's Progress. Fantastic art forger. His knowledge was second to none, but he couldn't make it as an artist for some reason. He made more money forging signatures on current masters that were selling. A very corrupt business, the art world, isn't it? Okay, something's happening there. Right, let's get some nice light green. I'll do a bit more of the distant trees, and a bit more of that in there. I'm going to put some sky colour in there when I've decided what the sky is going to do. Right, I'll use my new brush. Peel off the price. Cheap enough, really. But they don't seem to have the amount of bristle in them as they used to. But anyway, they're better when they were sort of worn out. So let's get a bit of white and a bit of black, a bit of blue. A lot of blue. Okay, let's get that in there. I don't want these to be too thick along there. I want to vary that. There's a bit of yellow in there. Just mute it a little bit. With light against dark, complementary colours. And I will drag the sky back over this so that it all creates a web of colour. There are some really good Impressionist painters around. You come back to the Impressionists all the time. But I do like some abstract work. Let's see if we can just get a little bit of higher some of these. Bring the sky into the trees into the sky. Right, bit of light over there. Right, okay, that'll do. Put my brush back, my big brush. I've had some of these brushes years. But a bit too black, let's just clean it out. So I want to get that nice and light on that horizon and take the horizon up just a little bit. And then I might put some heavier trees in, but I just want that light going along there. This whole area is of behind Romney is a lovely, beautiful flat. And when I make a trailer, because I can't pause and record with this camera, I make the trailer, then I upload that to YouTube. But before I do that, I knit the second part to the first part so that my patrons can see the whole video. Just soften, 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 soften. See what's happening? White, just to lighten that edge, bit of ochre. So it's all nice and dry almost there. This is the thing. Now people criticise acrylic because it dries quick. Well, that's its great property. That it dries quick, and you can crack on with the painting, or you have to wait. When I used to paint in oil, I used a lot of alkyd resin, which meant it did help every colour to dry, just even the titanium white, but just softening, 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 bringing those colours into that background. Oh, excuse me. Right, let's put in some darker colours. Well, we can start to put sky in, really. Sky colours in that. In here somewhere. I'm mixing that with the grey from the sky, but light, a bit lighter. It just adds a little bit of interest to the foreground. Show that wet bit there. Okay, we can put in some light as well, just to show some of that lighter sky colour. But remember, with this you can change it any time. It makes it a lengthy process, but unlike watercolour, you can work away until you get something that you like. Right, I don't really. I'm not a great blue sky lover. Right, I'm going to mix some of that alizarin and viridian and use that as my shadowy dark. So I'll just put that in there. This dried pretty quick. Some of that ground colour is showing through. Let's just put some of that in there. Well, I'll try a bit of white with it, see what happens. Because that'll make a little bit of a impasto there. A bit of shadow in there. Bit of red. It's another wonderful painter. It's Arthur Madison. Well, his early stuff. I think he got a bit fed up with doing all the dots for the Impressionists. But a wonderful painter, about my age. Alright, okay, well, I'll give another 5 minutes for the trailer. It's hardly a trailer, is it? It's half the painting. But if I can get some light coming through, so some brilliant yellow with that viridian. It's just a wide plane. Mostly, my experience of Romney Marsh is from the top of a bus. Well, I've been through it a few times, on the bus. You see more on the bus than you do in the car, don't you? Okay, now we're just trying to lose some of these, some of the detail. I'm just dragging, just trying to lighten that. I'll get a bit of sky colour in there, I think. Let's drag that in there. I've not used any burnt sienna. It's my favourite colour in watercolour. Right, just gently drag over that. Just to send it back further. It's quite dry. But on the British Impressionist Facebook page are some fabulous artists, Roger Castle, me. Yeah, I'm trying to, lost and found. Okay, I'm going to call a halt to that now. Thanks for watching. I hope you join me on part 2. Bye for now.